For those who can.
No matter where you are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, your radio is Nice Radio. 101.3, 96.7, 90.3 FM.
How did we get to this point? Ain't no mystery. We wasted a lot of years simply mashing up the country. Now can we put the pieces together that will redeem this land? I say yes, we can, my brother, but not until we understand.
A view from the outside. Nice vibes on a Saturday, 7:30 a.m. presents a view from the outside with your host Guevara Leacock. We have a country to rebuild. Let's get it done.
To salvage what's left of our nation.
A view from the outside, Saturday, 7:30 a.m. with your host Guevara Leacock.
We got a country to build.
7:30, just about 7:31, just about there. Good morning, Guevara. How are you this morning? How is the UK, you know?
Morning, Dougie. I'm all good. The UK is great, much better than it is in St. Vincent at the moment because, well, it's hot. We are having a really, really good summer. I know that the people who deal with climate and stuff would say that, you know, it's interesting times because we really have not had any rain in the past 6 weeks or so, or even longer. So it's about time. So I don't know what that would mean, but I hear that you are having rains and storms, and I even said to someone, I wonder if Doug, you have current.
I have a little my big generator ain't working, but I have a but the generator man, he promised me since before Carnival he coming, but he been very busy because
Right.
you know he is in high demand. So but if a real emergency come, I know he will come, you know.
Right.
But I have a little one. I just have to turn off a lot of things because it's much smaller than the big one. So thank God for that. At least I have something, you know. But we don't really have storms per se. What we have is a blob of weather
Right.
that is passing through and is approaching also this weekend. Doesn't develop into say any real formation, but it is a lot of moisture in the area. But because the way it's formed, you might find parts of St. Vincent get much more rain than the other, or so you might find St. Lucia get more rain than us, or vice versa, or Grenada. I don't know,
Right.
because it's the way it's not organized. So you will get some gusty winds, quite a bit of rain, and we're a lot of cloud cover. So
Right.
that's where we are right now. So that's why I played Pitter Patter. So make those
Yes.
put those in the mood who want to stay in the mood of rainy business.
Yeah, some Ernie Smith there. That was really good.
Yes.
That's one of the old time songs that I like. But there might be a chance of flash flooding then.
Well, that's why they always say a person's living next to streams and rivers and so forth. The places are prone to flash flooding. To be vigilant, and
Yeah.
I'm warning persons that their children who have little children, don't let them go play next to no streams. You never know when the gush of water is going to come down, and we have witnessed deaths in that situation already. So don't be careless and nothing ain't gonna happen. We sometimes are very careless because
Yes.
the forces of nature don't give you a lot of warning sometimes.
No, they're very unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know, literally unpredictable. Other than that, Dougie, what's going on in St. Vincent?
Well, I must say the Vera family, Singer Vera, Mrs. Vera's funeral is today. She passed away a few days ago. She is 95. And there's another friend of mine, and a friend,
Yeah.
Candy and Ian's mother. And that is happening today. I have not been well for the last 3 or 4 days. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to go to the funeral. But she is a wonderful lady. You don't find people like that anymore. She was such a wonderful lady. She and Mrs. Bonady,
Yes, I was going to say she's
sisters.
in that category.
Yeah, oh man,
Yeah.
they're two wonderful sisters. I'm telling you, you can't find more pleasant person, nice people, really nice people, you know. And I miss going in to sing her and seeing her and chat with her a little bit. She used to sit in the desk there for the years and years and years, but you know, had to retire at some point in time as she
Yeah.
went home and relaxed. And I'm certain that her children didn't want her to be coming down and harassing herself over the business
Over the business.
that
Yeah.
they are capable of taking care of themselves. But her funeral is today. That is one thing, you know. She was a person to emulate.
Yeah, it's that was an education there for me, Doggy, because I knew Mrs. Bonady well, but I didn't know that it was Mrs. Vera's sister.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see how that is the case.
Yes.
Yeah, two very nice souls. So my condolences to the Vera family. I am more familiar with Karen.
Mhm.
Karen and my sister went to school together and you know, had a friendship. So that's
I
who I would know. Yeah.
I must say, Karen has a lot of attributes of a grandmother.
Right.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
You know. So
That's good. Well,
that's what's happening today. That is on my mind because you know I know death is a very private thing because you know I lost both parents a good few years ago, but I always remember them daily. You know.
yes, of course. Yeah. For a child, I suppose that is something that, you know, you'd remember your parents. There's absolutely no way to get over that. I think that, you know,
Just a little fun on the side. WhatsApp came in this morning from a friend of Julian, who normally will talk with me during birthday celebration. He
yes.
said, "Good morning, sir. Tell Julian that pitter patter is coming down."
Well, I don't know if Julian is going to call you today during the birthday celebrations, but I do enjoy your exchange. I look forward to hear what you would have to say.
Well, you don't get warning.
Yes,
Yeah, you
exactly.
gotta get warning. So basically, there's nothing much extra that is going on. The normal things of business governance and so forth. The whole world um, geopolitical confusion that is creating problem. We see earthquakes happening all over the place. Colombia just
Yeah,
get mashed up with earthquake. Now Indonesia
Indonesia. Yep.
had another earthquake, and a lot of things are happening. You know, a lot of people would scripturally say, "Oh, the end times is coming because of the quotation in the Bible." When you see earthquakes in diverse places, people say, "But Jesus said the end is not yet." A lot of things there to be the unraveled before
Before then.
that
Yeah,
happens. But we must be prepared because our personal end can be near and we don't know.
exactly.
And that's why we
Exactly.
have to prepare.
Definitely.
That's what I could say to you this morning, sir.
All right, Dougie. Well, I'll get into today's program.
Right ahead.
So good morning to everyone listening to Nice Radio and to all Vincentians across our beautiful islands, from the lush hills of St. Vincent to the shores of Bequia, Mustique, Canawan, Myro, Union Island, Palm Island, and Petit St. Vincent. Good morning also to all Vincentians and friends across the diaspora. On a view from the outside this week, Saturday the 15th of August 2026, which is the very day on which our diplomatic relations with Taiwan turn 45, we turn our attention to the Prime Minister's visit to Taipei, with the view being that far from abandoning Taiwan, as Vincentians were warned it would, this new government is strengthening that friendship and diplomatic relationship. Do you remember what Vincentians, you, were told last year? Throughout the 2025 general election campaign, the Unity Labour Party, ULP, and those around it told Vincentians that a new Democratic Party, NDP government, would abandon Taiwan and build diplomatic relations with Beijing, mainland China. It was not a passing remark. The leadership of the ULP alleged that the opposition NDP campaign itself was being financed and run, in its own words, from the embassy of a country not too far from us in the Caribbean. That allegation was taken all the way to the United Nations General Assembly last September, where the party's leadership spoke of a diplomatic mission of a rising or risen hegemon from the Far East, bankrolling its opponents, the NDP. The ULP tied these allegations to the citizenship by investment question, or what they refer to colloquially as selling passports, alleging that Chinese-based companies were funding the NDP's campaign because they wanted the NDP to open a citizenship by investment program and to hand them exclusive contracts to sell Vincentian passports. No public evidence was ever produced for those allegations. On the 27th of November 2025, the Vincentian electorate gave their answer to these allegations made by the ULP. The NDP took 14 of the 15 seats. The ULP was reduced to a single seat, that of its leader, after 24 years in office. It was the NDP's best result since 1989. This week, the man Vincentians were told would end diplomatic relations with Taiwan, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Godwin Friday, arrived in Taipei. He took a military honor guard, attended a state banquet, and sat with President Li Ching-te. During the state banquet, Dr. Friday said publicly that St. Vincent and the Grenadines supports Taiwan's bid to join the United Nations, its specialized agencies, and Interpol. 45 years ago today, Milton Cato signed that relationship into being in Taipei, when St. Vincent and the Grenadines was barely 2 years independent. Whatever else you make of the Prime Minister's visit to Taiwan this week, the prediction Vincentians were sold last year has not come to pass. To be fair to the ULP, they were not inventing the concern out of nothing. Arnim Eustace, former leader of the NDP, Prime Minister, and opposition leader in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, committed the NDP to the One China policy back in 2016. An NDP delegation traveled to the People's Republic of China in 2018, allegedly to establish those relations. In October 2023, asked directly about St. Vincent and the Grenadines' diplomatic relations with Taiwan, Dr. Friday said the relationship was subject to review and that decisions of that kind are constantly revisited. That vagueness was deliberate, and all Vincentians understood it as such. However, by the 2025 campaign, the switch was not in the NDP manifesto, and Dr. Friday did not commit to it on any political platform. The ULP was prosecuting a case during the election campaign on the record between 2016 and 2023, not on what was being offered to voters by the NDP in 2025. So why did the NDP decide not to end diplomatic relations with Taiwan and develop a new relationship with mainland China? We on a view from the outside say that a possible answer is that Taiwan has very few friends left. Only 12 countries in the world still recognize Taipei, and 7 of those 12 are in Latin America and the Caribbean. Over the past 10 years, Panama, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras have all walked away from Taiwan. Every country that leaves increases the value of those who remain. That is why Prime Minister Friday is met in Taipei with a military honor guard and a state banquet. Our friendship is worth more to Taiwan today than it was 10 years ago, and Taipei knows it. Another reason is that St. Vincent and the Grenadines does not have room for political adventures. Our public debt is running at about 113% of everything this country produces in a year. Forecasts show that if the government is not cautious, the public debt can head towards 124% if nothing changes. And debt service is swallowing roughly 40 cents out of every dollar the government collects. It will be politically incompetent to rupture a 45-year relationship to find out whether a new patron will deliver while your credit rating sits where ours does. Just ask Moody's. So, what has this visit to Taiwan produced for St. Vincent and the Grenadines? How will you, as a Vincentian, benefit from this visit? There are negotiations towards an economic cooperation agreement, mutual recognition of driving licenses, a youth exchange program, and continued work on the Orange Hill plant factory, which is now selling vegetables to Vincentian hotels. At an investor roundtable, the Prime Minister offered Taiwanese investors 4 sectors: agriculture, tourism, the blue economy, and what the NDP calls the new economy. Interestingly, there was no headline economic package. Nothing has been announced this week that touches the national debt figure that governs everything this administration is able to do. Perhaps Dr. Friday, on his return, will tell Vincentians exactly how the visit will benefit the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of addressing the national debt. It is worth noting that though Taiwan is an amazing friend to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Taiwan's support to this country has been, to a significant degree, lending rather than giving. In May 2023, Taiwan's ambassador put contracted loans to St. Vincent and the Grenadines at around 577 million EC dollars. The completion of the Agel International Airport needed a $5 million Taiwanese loan to complete it. The grants St. Vincent and the Grenadines receives from Taiwan are also real and they matter. St. Vincent and the Grenadines received a grant of $3 million in February 2026 for social relief and 200,000 after Hurricane Beryl. But a portion of the debt this government is now trying to restructure came attached with the very friendship St. Vincent and the Grenadines has with Taiwan. 45 years of friendship is also 45 years of credit. The alternative in any event has been tested elsewhere. Honduras switched to Beijing in 2023, expecting the Chinese market to replace the Taiwanese one. Its shrimp exports to Taiwan fell by about 67% the following year, from roughly $100 million to 25 million. More than 60 companies closed, and in that industry, some 14,000 jobs were lost. The government elected in Honduras in November 2025 is now weighing up a return to Taipei. Examples like these should be a lesson for us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Switching allegiances is one thing, but the promises of new friends are enforceable by nothing except the friends' continuing interests. Once a country switches, their leverage is weakened, if not gone. This connects directly to what we discussed last week about Washington's visa list. A government already watching its people caught in an American visa freeze and needing the Americans and the Europeans to tolerate a citizenship by investment program has very little appetite for a quarrel with Washington over Beijing. Staying with Taipei is, among other things, cheap credit with the United States, and at the moment, St. Vincent and the Grenadines needs it. We, on a view from the outside, say that St. Vincent and the Grenadines continuing our friendship and diplomatic relations with Taipei is worth it, and the NDP government ought to be commended for maintaining it. The ULP's central allegation was never about Taiwan. Their mischief, disguised as concern, was that Chinese-linked interests wanted this country to start selling passports and were buying a government in order to make it happen. Remember, that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has never had a citizenship by investment program, at least not a legitimate one. We are the only independent OECS state that never went down that road, while St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, and St. Lucia all did. That is about to change. The Prime Minister announced in his February 2026 budget address that a citizenship by investment program would open in St. Vincent and the Grenadines this year. Vincentians, especially those in the legal profession, are eagerly awaiting the enabling legislation. The ULP's allegations are simply not disposed of, merely because the Prime Minister spent a pleasant week in Taipei. It will be answered by what the CBI legislation says when Vincentians finally see it. So in the coming days, when somebody tells you that our friendship with Taiwan is only sentiment or only history, think about what 45 years has actually put on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It has enabled our young people to go abroad to study. It has put technical officers alongside our farmers and vegetables from Orange Hill into our hotels. It provided help when Beryl left us in pieces. It has helped to build schools, health clinics, and other infrastructure. Most of us know a family that holds on to a piece of land because a grandparent worked for it. We also know how difficult it is to get back land once sold. We, on A View from the Outside, say a friendship between countries is much the same, and that this government was right to travel to Taipei and hold on to what 45 years of friendship and diplomatic relations has built. Until next week, this is Guevara Leacock with A View from the Outside. Have a pleasant day, a wonderful and incident-free weekend, and a positive week ahead.
Thank you, sir.
How did we get to this point? Ain't no mystery. We wasted a lot of years simply mashing up the country. Now can we put the pieces together that will redeem this land? I say yes, we can, my brother, but not until we understand.
A View from the Outside. Nice vibes on a Saturday, 7:30 a.m. presents A View from the Outside with your host, Guevara Leacock. We have a country to rebuild. Let's get it done.
To salvage what's left of our nation.
A View from the Outside, Saturday, 7:30 a.m. with your host, Guevara Leacock.
We got a country to build.
Jamming, slamming, back to back. Nice radio. 101.3, 96.7, 90.3 SPG.
Everywhere you go, everything I want to go.